Welcome to the Novi Police Department, and welcome to a special edition of the Briefing Room, shot live here at the Novi Police Department. I'm your host, Chief David Malloy, and what we'd like to do today is take you for a behind-the-scenes look at the Novi Police Department for community members who can't make it down here during normal business hours or who can't attend our open house at Fall for Novi. This is an opportunity for us to show off the inside of our building and the technologies and the men and women we have here at the Novi Police Department. So come along, take a look, and enjoy. We're here now in the Sergeant's office here at the Novi Police Department, which is really kind of the central hub of everything that goes on here. Joining us here, we have Assistant Chief Victor Loria and Sergeant Terry Whitfield. Terry's the current watch commander on duty here in the city of Novi, which means he's responsible for all the men and women who are out working on the street. All information gets filtered through his office. So, gentlemen, just kind of give us a little bit of overview of what it is that takes place in the location of this and why it's so important to the organization.
Well, I think that this is a central hub, obviously, for all activity that happens at the Novi Police Department. The commander, the watch commander, is responsible for many things, not just the road officers, but calls from citizens. And there's prisoners that are in the back, and we have a juvenile cell just over there. You take a look at that, and we have to be responsible for those prisoners, their general welfare, what's going on the road, monitor calls for service. Many things go on in this office, including checking of reports electronically. We have technology here. We're in the 21st century, so we have electronic reports that we check that come in from our laptops, and I do that on a daily basis and create daily shift briefings, and I'll have 3 of them today. I had one this morning at 7 o'clock, I'll have one at 3 and one at 4. So there's a lot of things that go on in this hub here, and everybody comes to this central area for that information.
Outstanding. And Chief, tell us a little bit about why the commanders are in this location and what actually they can access from each one of these chairs here in terms of monitoring the front lobby, the juvenile cell, communications, and the orientation.
Well, this is really the nerve center for the police department. Typically there are 2 sergeants on duty. One is for the most part in the station, the other one is out on the road supervising staff out there. But with this being the central point, they have contact with the front desk clerk and the cadet so they can monitor activities out there. You can see the 2 monitors on the wall over there that they can select a series of cameras that not only monitor the individual cells back there. You can see the monitor on the right is the booking area where one of our cadets is, but they can also do external security for the building. So we have some exterior cameras. Dispatch is located, 15 feet away. When there's something that's ongoing, a lot of times the shift commander will be in there so he can monitor the radio traffic moment by moment.
Particularly in the event of a pursuit or an ongoing situation that's unfolding, the watch commander who's in the station is providing information to the sergeant who's out on the street as well.
Absolutely, that is the central point, and when a significant event occurs, the watch commander is usually there. As you know, Chief, information has to travel very fast. Virtually all the information comes through this office and is disseminated not only to the road patrol and the detective bureau, but also the administrative staff and city leaders as well.
Victor, talk a little bit about the technology that we employ. We're one of the first communities in the Midwest that was actually writing our reports, and we're going to talk about it as we visit different posts throughout the station here. But talk about the sergeant's ability to review the officers' reports actually from this office here.
Well, in each of our police cars there is a laptop computer that allows the officer to key in all the pertinent information and write up their report. They submit that electronically, and Sergeant Whitfield from this office can call up the report, review it, make sure the facts and circumstances are correct, and he can approve it or he can send it back to the officer for corrections. All of this is done without having to have the officer come into the station. When you and I first broke in on the job, we remembered reports were all handwritten. We'd go out, we'd take a run on the street, we'd drive back to the station, sit down at a desk, and fill out our reports. Very time consuming and not very efficient. This way, our people are out on the street being observant, protecting the community, and doing the administrative tasks that need to be done.
Fantastic. Well, gentlemen, thank you for joining us here, and we'll probably see you later on during other segments. But now we're going to head back to the booking and lockup. So come join us. The next part of the Novi Police Department we're going to visit is the short-term lockup and booking facility. We are allowed by statute to hold prisoners here for up to 72 hours based upon probable cause for an arrest and sometimes exigent circumstances that go along with their arrest. There are no weapons allowed beyond this point, so all weapons have been secured. Come check out booking. We're here in the Novi Police lockup here with Cadet Ryan McDonald. Ryan's one of the newest additions to the Novi Police Department and is part of our overall cadet program. Ryan, why don't you take us through what happens when a prisoner is actually brought in here for booking by the officers?
Okay, Chief, thanks for having me on. When an officer makes an arrest out on the road, they'll bring a prisoner back to the station. And in that time, the cadets will go back to the dispatch center and grab all the necessary paperwork. And we'll try to have it ready for them when they get back here. We'll get them started at the computer, all their personal information. We'll get their property sheets and forms and bond receipts ready. And once the officer comes back in here, we'll have as much as we can ready for them. That way they can get back out on the road as quickly as possible.
And one of the efficiencies that we've been able to realize with the cadet program is we're able to almost cut that booking time in half because you have a lot of the stuff already done, already keyed in. You have all of their criminal history paperwork and all their lien teletypes and things like that. That's already back here and you're already starting that booking process. So when that individual comes in, they go in front of the camera, they get their fingerprints, and the officer's back out on the road quicker.
Yep, we try to make it as easy as a process as we can for the prisoner and the officer as well.
Super. Once we come on the other side here so we can check out the live scan fingerprint machine. This is our live scan fingerprint machine, which actually sends the records to the FBI and the Michigan State Police within a matter of seconds. It allows us to get a return on an individual to find out who they actually are. Upwards of 10 years ago, when we'd bring a prisoner in, we would have to take their ink fingerprints. Then we would also oftentimes have to wait 2 to 3 days to get their identity back. And now we're able to get that back in just literally within minutes. Usually less than 5 minutes we find out who they are. Ryan, why don't you just kind of run us through real quick? You don't have to actually log on, but just show us how this machine actually works here.
Okay, well, we'll have the prisoner come back here after they've gotten their picture taken. And we'll usually start with their right hand and drag their hand down like this. That way the computer can register their prints. And then we'll move on over here and get each individual finger, and it'll match it up to the ones that we originally took over here to make sure it's the same person and that the prints are matching up.
So this larger one, that's actually a palm print. So if someone were to leave their palm on a door or on a window, we're able to capture that and identify them.
Correct, yep, and we'll get the edge of their hand as well. And then over here we get the individual prints. We'll get the flat ones and we'll roll them as well so we can get make sure we don't miss any areas on their finger.
Great. Now, do we have any prisoners in lockup right now?
There are 2 prisoners back there right now.
Why don't you take us over and show us the video arraignment area? That's a new technology that we've been utilizing a lot here in Novi. It saves our officers from driving prisoners to Pontiac and over to the court. Why don't you take us and show us that real quick?
Okay.